What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the results of Portugal Pro, as the scorecards are now out. So Nathan Asha gets straight first place scores both at the prejudging as well as the finals, which by the way makes the judging in these past three shows kinda complicated if you think about it. Because the first thing that comes to mind is that how come Stephane lost to William Bonac at Emperor Classic Spain? Because if it was the lack of symmetry or aesthetics or the flow, that became a deciding factor here at Mr. Big Evolution Pro, then Barros should have won back in Spain as well. Because Barros definitely had better V-tape or better aesthetics than Bonac. So, what happened afterwards? The next weekend, Nathan Asha lost to Stephane. And that too with straight first place scores at both the prejudging as well as for the finals. And there was a huge argument for Nathan to win that show, because overall he was a lot more harder than Barros, at least from the front. He was a lot more fuller, he was a lot more denser. And yes, I know Nathan did not have those ripped glutes, or he did not have the best hamstrings on the stage, especially in comparison to Stephane. But same was the case here in Portugal as well. But we all know Nathan was big and full as a house, especially in comparison to Barros. And here in Portugal, Nathan takes down a very good version of William Bonac. And if the scorecards here were as close as they were in Spain, I think this could have made a lot more sense. But the thing is that they aren't. It was a clear-cut victory for Nathan Asha both at the prejudging as well as at the finals against Bonac. Now coming to that big question that is being asked. Was this a political win? No, I don't think so. Nathan won this show fair and square. And we all know with Nathan's history, the chances of him getting to the US, they aren't looking that good. Because let's just face it, unless Nathan do something outside of the box, the chances of him getting to the US and competing at the Olympia stage, they are not that high. And trust me, I wanna be so wrong on this one. I so wanna see him on the Olympia stage. Well, let's see what happens. So coming back to these Olympia qualifiers. So Nathan Asha winning here in Portugal. This has made this upcoming Dubai Pro extremely interesting. So if Nathan can beat Bonac with unanimous scores, then he might be able to beat Stephane as well. Now at this point it is kinda uncertain whether William Bonac is gonna go for that Dubai Pro. Because at this point he can just shut the season down and start getting ready for this upcoming Mr Olympia and focus on that. Or maybe he can diet for another 3 weeks or so and do Dubai Pro. Because the biggest attraction here in Dubai, that is the prize money, which is $100,000 for the first place. And even the second place spot, that is 40 grand. And did you guys know what's even more mind-blowing? The third place finisher is gonna get 15k, which is the same amount that Nathan Asha just won here in Portugal. So the prize money is gonna be a major factor. Now it must be a bit disappointing for the promoters of Dubai Pro, who have put so much money on the line, and yet no one from the Olympia top 10 have decided to do this show. The biggest disappointment in my opinion was Andrew Jacked, as he lives and trains in Dubai. And this could have been a walk in the park for Andrew, if he showed up anything like Texas 2023. And we all know he would have been a lot better than that, because he has been putting a lot of hard work this time in the off-season. And although it isn't directly confirmed by Andrew Jacked himself, the rumor is that he is doing Texas Pro, which is scheduled just 2 weeks after Dubai. And the prize money there will be like 15k, and that is for first place. So do you guys know what can be the biggest twist here in Dubai? That Andrew just decides to enter this show at the very last minute. That is gonna make this show so much more exciting. So if you go over his latest training update and see the caption there, it says a few weeks out. So one thing is certain, that Andrew is planning to compete very soon. So why am I saying that Dubai Pro could have been a walk in the park for Andrew? Well, fact of the matter is, he wasn't even close to his personal best at this last Mr Olympia. And even he himself said this afterwards, that his body was fighting itself, and yet that was still good enough to place top 5 in the world. And I believe this new version that we are about to see in 2024, with all the hard work, with a proper off-season, I think this is gonna be a different animal, as this is Andrew's first time taking a real off-season, and he really allowed his body to grow properly. Plus this was the first time he took a real break. He gave his body some rest and recovery period as well. So I believe this is gonna be an altogether different version of Andrew Jacked. And I think we can all agree, if Andrew shows up here, neither of these guys, like Stephane, Nathan Asha or Nexila, they have a chance against him. Next up we have a classic physique update of Jose Manuel, aka Jose Beast, who is now at 14 weeks out of his Olympia debut in classic physique category. So this guy just won 2 classic shows back to back, and he's ready to make some big noise at this upcoming Mr Olympia. So if I'm not mistaken, Jose is gonna be the youngest guy in Classic Physique Olympia lineup this year. That guy is just 22 or 23 years old, and the man absolutely has an insane physique. So many people criticized his decision of switching from the men's open to Classic Physique, because he placed 4th at his men's open debut last year at Emperor Classic Spain. And that also was a great lineup, with 2 former Olympians, Michael Crizo and Andre Presti. These guys were top 2, but Jose was extremely impressive in that show. But that being said, it is highly unlikely that Jose could have won an open pro show this year, and that is why he switched to Classic Physique category. And at this point that makes total sense. The question is, can he fight those top 10 guys in the world at the Olympia? Well, we can all agree he is most probably gonna have one of the best backs out there. His back might be one of the most ripped and complete backs on the Olympia stage this time. Although Jose doesn't have a very small waist, but he has mastered the art of hitting a perfect vacuum, and he can create that illusion on the stage. So multiple great physiques are gonna be making their Olympia debuts this year, but Stephane and Jose off the top of my head. So who do you guys see have a better chance of placing higher? So this victory of Stephane must have tasted really sweet. And that caption under his recent post, that says it all. So Stephane has received so much criticism that he's an Instagram bodybuilder, because he was unable to translate that same look on the stage compared to his IG posts, and some people really called him out. But in reality, what really was happening with him was that he was struggling to make that weight cutoff, and he was losing way too much pop and fullness and muscle in the final peak week, and that was totally ruining his final stage look. So this time Patrick did a superb job with him, and this was their first show together, and they presented such a great package. Stephane was the winner the moment he stepped on stage, and the scorecard really shows it. So he must be very proud of beating a guy who placed 9th in the world in Classic Physique, and that is Wahid Badebi. So Stephane giving him a shout out in his story. That is such a great gesture shown by him. So will Stephane be able to improve on this look? Maybe bring a bigger and a wider back? Well, as of right now, we do not know, because when an athlete is barely making his weight, there isn't gonna be some drastic changes in his physique from one year to the next. Maybe he can bring more muscle maturity, more density, but I believe that is pretty much it. Lastly, we have an update from Michael Crizo. So he's gonna have to go through a surgery of his right delt, and that is gonna be very soon. And this is the range of motion that he can do as of right now. So he is moving just one plate, as you guys can see, which is really crazy for a bodybuilder of Michael's size. But the thing is, he cannot risk worsening an already injured shoulder. So Michael loves training, and that is why he's back in the gym, doing what his body is allowing him right now. So from a fan's perspective, it is a huge disappointment that Michael Crizo won't be on the Olympia stage this year. He's one of the best right now, top 7 in the world. And I don't think it is fair to judge Michael Crizo on his look from this past Emperor Classic Spain, because he couldn't train the way he wanted to because of his injury. So Crizo was the favorite going into that show, based on his past 2 looks, the Prague and the Olympia 2023. So even that Olympia version of Michael Crizo, where he was a little bit downsized, but he was in a crazy condition and very dry, even that was extremely impressive. So hopefully this surgery goes well, and he gets back to work, and cannot wait to see him back on the stage at Prague Pro, which is gonna be in the post-Olympia tour. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.